What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link it, discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Weeble preferred affiliate. What's your best promotion in the pinned comment? All you need to do, click the link, open account, agree to the terms and conditions. They are going to give you free stock. Don't know how many of you received this email. Maybe even less of you that actually read it. But the reality is Maximum Football came out with some of the worst news that they could have today in an email that stated, the dedication and excitement you've shown for Maximum Football is incredible, and your passion continues to drive us to create the best football experience possible. So that we can accomplish this, we have made the decision to move Steam Early Access into 2024, and are first planning a beta that allows community members to get hands-on playing time and share feedback. While the team focuses on getting the beta ready, we'll share development updates a bit less than usual, and look forward to sharing awesome new insights with you in the future. Thanks for your patience, and we'll see you soon. Now, to me, the challenge with this is twofold. Number one, this is a promise that was not kept by this gaming company. And the reality is, whether this is EA, an independent developer, whatever the case may be, making a promise or commitment to your community and then failing to uphold it ultimately becomes a problem, more so when it's done more than once. Even larger is the fact that they hired Mike McFadden, community member, someone that had worked at EA, to come on board and help promote this game and handle social media. Now, the reality with that is, clearly, we can look at this now and understand that they weren't ready in any capacity for him to be online sharing updates when they themselves are saying we're going to have to do this less often. So there seems to be a massive issue in how the company and the game is being created, communicated, ran, directed when you're hiring someone, releasing them from that position, and then coming out publicly and saying, hey, we're not ready to do this. And the reality is this goes well beyond just pushing a game back to 2024. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, you also have to understand that by doing this, they're also in large part losing one of the biggest issues that they had, in that they were going to be the only college football game on the market. So Madden was delayed. The NCAA football game from EA, which we'll just call Madden as well, was delayed. So the fact that they were going to be the only college football game out, I think just from people going into the store wanting to play college football, was going to be a pretty big deal. But now, the fact that they're going out into 2024 is almost going to put them in direct competition with EA, which I think we all know isn't the best thing when you have a company that has a license versus other companies that don't. And in fairness, if we're looking at it from a timeline perspective, if we're moving it to 2024 and we're not giving a set date, right, we don't have even a season to release or a quarter to release in, I would think best case scenario, you're looking at seeing this game possibly in March or April, which is a far cry from where they were initially planning to release this game, when you look at just a couple months ago. And when you have, at least in my perspective, a company kind of making these missteps, you lose trust and faith with the consumer before they even have a product, because the reality becomes, if I can't trust you to promote and release your game on time, how am I going to trust you to fix your game when there's an issue? If I can't trust you to hire people in the community and hold to a timeline and be honest when things don't go right, how am I going to trust you to fix the game when it releases in a less than satisfactory state? Because those are expectations we have, right? I think we all understand when a game releases, it's going to need to be patched. There's going to be issues. They can test the game as much as they want, but the first day it's out in the wild and has thousands of people playing it, they're going to find issues that weren't found before. Those are expectations with any game. So the fact that they're going to sit there and hold us to unrealistic expectations, and then when they let us down, simply apologize via email, when they use those same expectations to hire people that, no matter how great Mike be, we realize that they really didn't have a need for. And then the end result is moving the game back months on months on months, and we're supposed to just say, okay, we're supposed to just say, well, that's fine. I mean, granted, we don't have much of other position. What do you expect us to do? But the reality is, in my opinion, that shows some real question in the direction of this game, because they are the ones ultimately that released these trailers. They're the ones that ultimately put out these screenshots. They're the one that actually generated all this hype. If they weren't ready, then none of that needed to happen. Now, granted, they put a trailer up on YouTube that I got directed to and showed, and then since then naturally, everybody in the space that wants a community football game where we can share rosters and create things and all the really wish list boxes we've had that Maximum Football checked before, just behind kind of a subpar looking product, were being answered. And then the fact that we come out today and kind of unceremoniously just dump out an email that says, this is the decision we made, we'll see you next year, free or not, I think that's where people are going to take a real issue with how a company is creating a game. And to be honest, if that's what we're truly doing, what if we don't hold to that free-to-play mantra? If the release date can change a couple times, what can't change with it? And I'm certainly not saying that the game's going to go from free to charge, but at the same time, they've built a lot of hype that is going to quickly fall apart just because we're probably 8 months away from actually being able to download and play this game. And even then, longer away from the community as a whole playing and recognizing it as a true competitor in the space. So this is, not really what I expected from them. There's really not a lot of ownership of issues in this. I honestly feel like at this point, reading this email, this company probably owes an apology to Mike for bringing him on board too soon, setting expectations way too high, and then putting him in a position to probably not do the best he could do with limited resources, and then also putting the community in a position where we were obviously overexcited for a game's release when clearly they would have absolutely known at that point it was nowhere near where it needed to be, and then now we're looking at this. So, again, these are things that we expect from EA. These are things we expect from, new game companies, right? Not companies like Modus. I think one of the things I was most excited about was, hey, here's a real gaming company finally. Here's a real developer, right? I'm not trying to take shots at Legends Bowl or Access Football, but the reality is here's an actual gaming company that's released games. This isn't somebody just making a one-off football game because they're tired of Madden being awful. And I think a lot of us had an expectation that this was going to resolve a lot of the problems, and then here we are literally staring a lot more of them right in the face because we can't even get a game released. The fact that there's really not a whole lot to show for what they've been working on other than some screenshots and video makes you wonder how far along the actual game is, because what we were seeing, at least in my opinion, made us look like the game was pretty far along. And apparently now we're learning that it wasn't nearly as far along as they made it out to be. It'll be interesting to see what they release with these slowed down updates, and it'll be very intriguing to see what they show, given the nature of now where we see the state of the game. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching this video. Unlike Maximum Football, I will be back in the week with more content.